Jacklow, Bethany Creek, Strong Hope, Barrow, Yanipa, Bat Creek, Ulili, Kaiburi, Mashabo Mission, Kapui Mission, Hackney Canal, St. John.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member,
Mr. Chair, you know, I must come in. I must come in. For example, Kabakamuri Creek. I don't know of any school there. I'm from Region 2. I don't know of any school there. I don't know if the minister is confusing the issue or where the water is delivered.
But let's get a clarification from the Minister. Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, there is a primary school there.
Thank you. Honorable members, Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the Honorable Minister said that this was for the distribution of water during the dry season. Can the Honorable Minister say how many cases of water went to each school? If he could give a breakdown of that. So he need not call it out. He can lay it over so we could understand how many cases went to which school.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, they're not cases, but 450-gallon tanks that are being transported.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for agency 72-724, chart of accounts 6231, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, let us move to item 7. Agency code 76-761, Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine, Regional Administration and Finance, Chart of Account 6281, Security Services, and I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. I now put the question that the sum stated herein for 72-761 Agency Code and Chart of Account 6281 stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put the propose the question that the sum stated for Agency Code 72-762 Region 6 Chart of Account 6281 Security Services, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put Honorable Member Mr. Mahipon.
Mr. Speaker, may I ask the Honorable Minister to provide the name of the security form, and if it's the same security form for all for all 5 programs, and what is the new rate?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, the name of the firm is Queensway Security Services, Inc. And the rates have increased from $6.32 per hour to $702 per hour. Yeah, that's across the board.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, having noted the question, can I put 76, 763, 76, 764, 76, 765, the same chart of account?
Mr. Chair.
Honorable member, Ms.
Yeah, just before
Ferguson.
we put them. On the same line item, I was trying to find my records.
Take your time.
But in August of 2023, we came for extra monies for security services for a few regions that I can't recall off my head, right? So, Mr. Speaker, my concern is, and I'm putting the question to the honorable member, when you came seeking additional provisions for those regions for security services, why is it that the regions that you're now seeking monies for were not a part of that financial paper that we considered in August of 2023?
Honorable Minister,
And as I'm on my feet,
go ahead.
what would have occasioned, Mr. Minister, the increase from 6 something, I think you said earlier, to 7 something per hour? What would have occasioned that increase?
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, this is to do with the new contract. It's a new contract.
Okay, good.
Honorable Member.
Thank you very much. Since the honorable member has stated that it's a new contract, can the honorable member state for this House what procurement method was actually used? And
Chair.
because these monies would have expended probably before we came here today. So what, when the advertisement went out, when it was closed, and when the contract was actually effected? Because you stated earlier, because I guess many of my colleagues would get that understanding, that there was a contract in place, hence the increase in the wage, in the hour of cost from 7 something to from 6 something to 7 something. So how come now it's a new contract with, I don't understand that, Mr. Chair, so I guess the honorable member can clarify for us.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, it was open tender, and the contract from May 2023 to April 2024.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sorry, see.
Honorable Member, go ahead.
Thank you very much. You see, that's where the problem lies. It clearly shows that we have poor budgeting by this government. Because if you had
Honorable Member, can you please ask the question? Is it poor budgeting? Is that the question?
Well, that's one question.
Okay.
And then I will ask the honorable member, why is it that this provision was not sought in financial that considered in August of 2023?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, at that time we had money, and now we are seeking additional sum.
Honorable Member, Ms.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, can the honorable member state for the House when the contract took effect for this new security services? When the contract took effect, when the ministry signed the contract for the services for varying regions?
For the varying regions or for this region?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for this particular region.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, that question was answered earlier.
Mr. Chair, I did not hear the response given. I guess the minister, for my information's sake, can provide a response to the question I just posed.
Honorable Minister, the honorable member said she didn't hear. She did not.
The contract signed by the region from May 2023 to April 2024.
Thank you, Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, you would agree with me. If you have a contract signed, based on what the honorable member is saying, that a contract was signed in May of 2023 and ended in April of 2023, because you said earlier, 21? Oh, 2024, sorry.
Thank you very much, Minister. We have exhausted, I think, the questions here. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for agency code 76-762, chart of account 6281, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, agency code 76-763, Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine, Public Works, chart of account 6281, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, and I now put the question and that the sum stated for agency code 72-763, chart of account 6281, I now put the question that this sum stands part of the estimates. I've been invited to put all the reasons, but I have to propose before I put. So I sum stated for agency 76-764, chart of account 6281, and agency 76-765, chart of account 6281, that those sums stated form part of the estimates. I now put the question that the sum stated for these two agencies now stand part of the estimates. In favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. We now move to item 8, agency code 79-791, Region 9, chart of account 6281. And I propose a question that the sum stated for this agency stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for this line item stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Agency code 79-793, Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, Public Works, and chart of account 6281. I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahiko.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, may I ask the Honorable Minister to provide the name of the security company and also the rate from what it was to what it is now?
Honorable
And
Minister.
if that is the same security form for all the programs that are listed here for security services.
So we have one other.
79-794. Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, Strategic Action Service, Security Services, for both of the, across the board. Due to an increase of daily rates, weekends, Sundays and holidays, weekdays 480 by 16 by 245 days, Saturdays 720 by 60 by 50 days, Sundays 960 by 60 by 70 days, plus 40% VAT.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I will propose the other item under this particular agency chart of account, that is 76764, Region 9, East Berb, 79-794, Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo Education Services. That is some stated herein stand part of the estimates. And now I'll put, sorry, go ahead, Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
Mr. Chairman, 794, Security Service Education, Region 9. Would the minister say if the primary schools and and nursery schools are entitled to be beneficiary of this being granted a security service in Region 9?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, something is wrong with the question. This is dietary, not security services.
No, no, no. The honorable member, Mr. Mahipal, said we could put both together. But I proposed one, and I was proposing 79-794, which is education services security. And I haven't put the two as yet. Not the dietary, the security.
Mr. Chair, strategic action security services, 44 locations.
Covering,
The specific question, Mr. Chair,
yeah,
is whether or not,
secondary and primary.
no, not secondary, primary and nursery schools
primary.
have been benefiting from this security services as shown in this line item.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Minister.
So, Mr.
Honorable member, please, go ahead.
Could the minister state the names of the primary schools and secondary schools in the Anai sub-district that are benefiting from this service? Nursery and primary schools
In Anai sub-district.
in Anai sub-district. And the former REO supposed to know the place well.
Mr. Chair, I will provide the list.
Honorable Minister will provide the list, whether it's Waweta, Quatamang, Surama, Anai itself.
Thank you, but
Rupert.
just to say that the Tushao said that none of them are receiving this service. Just to let you know that.
So, honorable members,
Can I go on to the next one?
no, let me put the question for these two because I haven't put the question yet. I just proposed the question. Honorable members, I now put the question for agency code 76-763, 76-764, sorry, 9. 79, I put the question that the sum stated for agency code 79-793 and 79-794, both chart of account R6281, and I put the question for these two line items that the sums stated herein now form part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. I now propose a question that the sum stated for 79-794, Region 9, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo, Education, Delivery, Chart of Account 6292, Dietary. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just to say that I'm just asking if this is the correct information we're receiving here, because in the budget estimates, we were told by the then Honorable Minister of Local Government that all secondary school children will be entitled to dietary benefits in the secondary schools. Does this, I see it marked dorms here. Is it just dorms or all secondary school children who are attending like secondary school in Anai?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, primary tops and all the dorms.
Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the information.
Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipal.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this voted provision of 221,444,000, was that sum budgeted for the needs of the dorm also?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, yes, but there was a shortfall.
Honorable Member.
Thank you, sir. Sir, for the period October 1st to the 8th of December, which is roughly 2 months, we have expended $140,629,950, and before that it was $221,444,000. Could the Honorable Minister explain why this substantial increase for just this 2 months period?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, we are now providing snacks for the children, the dorms, which they have never received before.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member.
Mr. Chair, is the Honorable Minister saying that the snacks began in October of 2023 and ended in the December 8th? Because when I look at the supplementary that is coming, I'm not seeing any requests for additional sum for that purpose. So is this snack only for that period?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I did indicate that there was a shortfall for the year because of the introduction of the snacks.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Maipol.
Chair, thank you. I'm trying to get an understanding. For this 2-month period alone, this sum catered for the snacks as the minister indicated, and the voted provision is $221,000. Could the Honorable Minister say when the distribution of snacks began?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I alluded to earlier that it's for the entire year, 2023, but there was a shortfall. It's 1,583 children that are receiving these snacks now.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Maipol.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is the snacks that is a part of this school feeding program where persons that fell under the Ministry of Education before. This is a different arrangement that is specific to Region 9.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, it's a mid-afternoon snack.
Yes, sir, with your permission, I understand that. I know that the Ministry of Education has this school feeding program, and I'm asking if this is specific to Region 9, because no other region I saw came before us for dietary increase for this mid-morning snack in other regions. So is it specific to Region 9, or are the other regions benefiting along the line?
On this particular provision is 9.
Yes.
Honorable Minister.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For Region 9.
Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
Sir, I have one other question, if you permit me, please.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, if this is specific to Region 9, could the Honorable Minister say why the other regions are not a part of...
Okay, when we come there, we will see. This is 9. Let's stick to 9. Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
Mr. Chair, can the Minister say what is included in the snacks that the children in secondary school get, according to him, in the afternoon?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, there are caterers that provide the meals and the snack. I don't prepare them.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable Member, Mr. Henry.
I received word from the Tushao that they're getting a banana or an apple as a snack. One banana or a snack. Is that true, Minister?
Honorable Minister.
Absolutely no, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable
Thank
Member,
you.
Mr.
The
Henry.
nation is hearing that. Ghana is hearing that.
Honorable Member, Mr. Henry, please. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Earlier, the minister, in his response, stated that the provision that was approved, that is now being approved by way of contingency fund, he said it was as a result of a shortfall. My question to the Honorable Minister, the initial provision of 221 million, can you say how many persons benefited from this 221 million?
Honorable Minister.
Oh, no, I'm going somewhere.
Mr. Chair, I answered that question already.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Mr. Chair, this is unacceptable from the minister. The minister stated earlier, the honorable member stated earlier, that the initial provision, and I trust I heard you correctly, was from the time budget passed in February of 2023 up to September of 2023. So therefore, at the time of budgeting, you didn't know you had 1,083 students in the dorm to take care of. Well, that's what I'm trying to ask. That's what I'm trying to get from the minister. From February, from the time the budget passed, how many children this 221 million was catered for?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I answered with regards to the amount of children previously. I don't think I need to repeat myself. This amount was the snack. The amount for the snacks was not budgeted for last year. The snack was introduced this year. That was where the shortfall was created. And
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipon.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, it may have missed me, but could the Honorable Minister provide us with the names of the dormitories to which this service has been offered?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, Anai Dormitory, 353 children. St. Ignatius Dorm, 219. And Sand Creek Dorm, 312. Aishalton Dorm, 180. Karasabai, 145. And Napi Primary Top, 62. And Karasabai Primary Top, yeah, I mentioned that already, 145.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for agency code 79-794, chart of account 6292, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, we can now turn to item number 8. Sorry, it's still at night. Item 8 on the next page. And I propose a question that the sum stated for agency code 79-795, region 9, chart of account 6281, security services. I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for agency.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, 6281 security services is the description. We had a voted provision of 38 million and change thus far. So for the period of this contingency financial paper, the sum of 2 million and change was expended, and the explanation given is as a result of provision of additional resources cater for increased security charges. So my question to the I have several questions for the honorable member. Starting one, the initial provision, which firm is currently providing services to this particular, the health services delivery in the region?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, Strategic Action Security Services.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, honorable member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, can the honorable member state the period for the contract with Strategic Security?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, this contract expires in March 2024. Expired in March 2024.
I'm asking for the period. A start, a contract would have a start date and an end date. So can you give me
April
the start?
2023 to March 2024.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the budget was passed in February of 2023. And we had a supplemental in August of 2023. So the question to the Honorable Minister, why come now and not in August if you had to make, had a variation in the security, in the cost for security?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, there were funds available then.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the honorable member state, from the time the contract was entered into in April, of 2023, can you say what was the rate per hour at that time?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, Mondays to Fridays, $2.75 per hour, it moved to $4.80 per hour. Saturdays, $413 per hour, moved to $7.20 per hour. Sundays and holidays, $550 per hour, moved to $960 per hour.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the honorable member, but what explanation was given to you by the company, right, after entering the contract that would have caused an increase in the rate per hour from $2.75 to $480 per hour? And then you already give other figures.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, this was a new tender and the security firm increases rates.
Thank you, Minister.
So, Mr. Chair, if the budget was passed in February of 2023 and we had a voted provision of some $300 and something thousand, can the honorable minister state which security firm provided services from January to February, just before the budget?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I answered that question earlier.
No, you didn't say the name of the security firm.
I did?
No, you did. The service, the security service that provided services between January and February of 2023, just before the budget.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, Strategic Action Security Services.
Thank you,
So,
Minister.
you see, Mr. Chair, my follow-up question to the honorable minister, can you say whether or what procurement method was used?
Open
Honorable
tender, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Minister.
My
Honorable
fin-
Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much. My final question to the honorable member. The service is being provided at health services. So can you say how many health centers are being manned by this security service and the number of persons assigned to each health center in the region? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, there are 22 locations. Lethem Public Hospital, Sand Creek Health Center, Anai Health Center, Karasabay Health Center, Aishalton Sub-District Hospital. Yes, Mr. Chair, I'll lay over the rest.
Thank you very much.
But, Mr. Chair, sorry, the honorable member haven't answered the second part of my question. The number of persons manning these 22 health centers across the region.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I will lay that over.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member.
Mr. Chair, you see, this is the problem I'm having because,
Ask the question if you have a supplementary.
well, you know, this is a contingency fund. These are monies already expended.
So you're
The
not,
honorable member should have that information before him so that he can provide.
Honorable
it to
Member, is
this
there a
House.
question? Because the Minister is not in a position to give you the answer immediately. He said he will lay it over.
Okay, well, to the honorable minister, can you say to this House why you don't have the information?
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
Because I don't have it.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Members, I
The
think
last
we...
question. Yeah, the
Yes,
last
you have had
question.
three
So,
last questions.
Thank you. So can you follow up? Can the honorable member state when exactly he's going to lay over the information requested? Thank
Honorable
you.
Minister, when?
Mr. Chair, as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 79-795, Chart of Account 6281, Security Services, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable Members, this completes consideration of all the items in this financial paper. I will now put the motion, which is that the Committee of Supply approve of the proposal set out in financial paper number 4 of 2023. Supplementary estimates current and capital, advances made from the contingency fund totaling $1,899,647,334 for the period 23/10/01 to 23/12/08. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Let the assembly resume. Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I wish, sir, to report that the Committee of Supply has approved of the financial paper number 4 of 2023, and I now move that the Assembly doth agree with the committee in the said resolution.
Thank you,
very much,
Minister. The question is that the Assembly doth agree with the committee in its resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Honorable members, this completes consideration of financial paper number 4 of 2023.
Honorable members, the House will resolve itself into committee to consider
The proposal set out in financial paper number 5 of 2023. Honourable members, we are now in Committee of Supply. Honourable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Chairman, in accordance with Article 171(2) of the Constitution, I signify that Cabinet has recommended for consideration by the Assembly a motion for the approval of the proposals set out in Financial Paper Number 5 of 2023. Supplementary estimates current and capital totaling $24,044,095,908 for the period ended 31st December 2023. And I now move the motion, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable members, we will now consider the proposals laid out in financial paper number 5. And I invite you to consider item 1. Item 1, Agency Code 02-023, Office of the Prime Minister, Power Generation, Chart of Account 6321, Subsidies and Contributions to Local Organizations. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honourable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 02-023, Chart of Account 6221, that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no.
Mr. Chair,
The ayes have it.
I'm on my feet.
Honourable members,
Mr. Chair,
I have to move on to Agency Code
No, but Mr. Chair, I was on my
02-203.
feet before you put the question, sir. I was on my feet.
And I now move to Chart of Account 2000. I propose the question. All members, when we propose, that's when people have to be ready with their questions. When I put, it means we have exhausted the question. So you can't raise when I'm putting. The opportunity has passed, and we ask that people be alert. I would scan the room after proposing to see if anywhere or any person catches my attention. So now I am at proposing Chart of Account 261-0000, Solar System Project. And I again propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honourable members, I put the question that the sum stated for Agency Code 02-023, Chart of Account 261-0000 stands part of the estimates. Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honourable members, I move to item 2. Agency Code 03-031, Ministry of Finance, Policy Administration, Chart of Account 450-2400, Technical Assistance, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is supplementary paper for the period ending 31st of December 2023. The request being sought here, sir, is $31,544 plus.
544,000.
Initially, we had a voted provision of 30 million Guyana dollars. This is the 18th of, today's the 19th of December. We have practically 11 days remaining to the end of this year. The explanation given to expend this 31 million and change, provision of additional inflows under the Inter-American Development Bank Technical Assistance Program as a result of action of project activities. So can the Honorable Minister explain, one, the reason for you now seeking this money and whether you would be able to expend this money before the end of December 2023, and how many persons are likely to benefit from this provision now being sought?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister, Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I wonder, where does one begin?
By answering the question.
Where does one begin? First of all, sir, just a point of correction. I believe I heard the honourable member say that the original voted provision was 30 million. It was not, it's 50. But secondly, sir, the honourable member would have noted that this supplementary provision is being sought under what is described as specific financing. And the honourable member, having served, I believe this is like you said earlier, through you, sir, the honourable member held her head aloft during consideration of financial paper number 4, brandished her hand in the air and said, "I'm going somewhere." Right? I too, sir. I too, sir, I'm going somewhere with this. Mr. Chairman, this is a specific allocation. This is a foreign inflow under an IDB-supported technical assistance program, as is clearly indicated under the narrative. Sir, the honourable member has served, as far as I can recall, in at least 2 parliaments. Perhaps more. I don't know if this is her 3rd parliament. I know it's her 2nd. At least her 2nd. And she would know of the time-honoured practice of bringing to account, she must know of the time-honoured practice of bringing to account at the end of the year additional inflows in the case of those foreign-funded projects whose execution progressed at a pace that was more rapid during the course of the year than was originally anticipated. Now, I understand that this would be a circumstance that would be somewhat alien to the APNU AFC, given that they were known more for sloth of implementation rather than for speed of implementation. And so I sympathize somewhat with the fact that this is an unfamiliar circumstance for them. But sir, we have been implementing proceeding. In fact, I believe it is Honorable Minister Manikchan who said they used to send back money. We are executing more rapidly than we anticipated. That's the point. Because we are delivering services to people. And so, sir, what this reflects is accelerated implementation of the project which resulted in a higher level of disbursements from the IDB, as is clearly indicated in the narrative, and as has always been the case where disbursements by foreign funded agencies exceeded the budgeted allocation, we come at the end of the year to seek an appropriation to bring to account that additional inflow. And that is what this represents. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated herein for Agency Code 03-031, Chart of Account 4502400, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The sum stated stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, let's go to item 3, Ministry of Finance, Agency Code 21-212. We first deal with Chart of Account 6321, Subsidies and Contributions to Local Organizations, and I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Sorry, Ministry of Agriculture. Honorable members, item 3 is Ministry of Agriculture, the Agency Code 21-212, and the Chart of Account 6231, Subsidies and Contributions to Local Organizations, and I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Minister disaggregate the $4 billion that he's now seeking for the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, BNI activity to maintain 441,000 rods of canal, channel and drainage, $2,572,189,691. Maintenance of machinery and equipment, $840,589,529. Operation of machinery and equipment, $244,433,000. Supervision and transportation costs, $121,358,000. Maintenance of vehicle 77 for $51 million. Fuel and lubricants, $50 million. And manual cleaning in a number of channels in Region 10, $120 million, giving you a total of $4 billion.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Minister received in August of this year some $2.something billion for NDIA. Could the Honorable Minister say whether, with the 12 days remaining, if the ministry has the capacity to expend the $4 billion that he is now seeking, and why is it that in August he did not seek to get funds to do the additional cleaning and maintenance of the machinery to the end of the year?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, probably the honorable member would know that we are doing a lot of maintenance. He himself has called me and requested some canals to be maintained in Region 5, and he commended the process. We are in the El Nino situation now. We are moving pumps, we are moving machinery, we are clearing canals, and although we are in this situation in terms of irrigation, we are still able to satisfy the farmers' need in getting irrigation for both cash crop, rice farming and things. So we have, this is ongoing work. And
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the responsibility is mine to seek of the Minister of Agriculture and any other ministry assistance for the people of Guyana, and that I will continue to do. Mr. Chair, with the same breath, I want to ask I want to ask of the minister to disaggregate the $53 million for the MMA AD.
Honorable Minister.
So Mr. Chair, maintenance of canal and drain and access dam, $50 million. Other goods and services, which include spare parts for a number of machinery and equipment, $3 million, giving you a total of $53 million.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Gaisuko is now receiving another $2 billion. It is almost $40 billion from the year 2020 to now. While it is clear that other agencies have not received such sum and care, could the Honorable Minister say what this additional $2 billion would be used for at Gaisuko?
So Mr. Chair, the disaggregation is wages and salary 58%, which give you 1.168 billion. For fuel, 242 million, lubricants 40 million, other essential material and supply 284 million, lorry contractors 203 million, give you a total of $2 billion. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that with the accelerated work program, due to the El Nino condition in the estate, resulting in more opportunity days, and we are now moving ahead rapidly to enhance our cultivation, to grow more cane, to produce more sugar. And I'm happy to say that we are moving in that light and we are achieving our goal bit by bit, whilst we are reducing the dependency on the government's coffer.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member.
Mr. Chair, just for clarity, could the Honorable Minister state what is the amount for wages and salaries for Gaisuko? I just want to get it clear. I heard 1 point.
I said 58% out of the $2 billion, which give you $1.168 billion.
Right.
Honorable Member, go ahead.
Sorry. So, Mr. Chair, I want to ask of the Honorable Minister if the new trend of the government will now be to pay or to subsidize Gaisuko annually for wages and salaries for workers, and if so, how much is he planning to come for next year?
Mr. Chair, I just said this sum here is a work that we are accelerating to achieve our goal, objective. So the extension of the work would have called for more funds. Although we are reducing, if you look at last year's contribution that the government would have made to Gaisuko, is far higher than this year's contribution. Although we are now moving and increasing cultivation, mechanizing it, and ensure that we produce more sugar, we are reducing the dependency, Gaisuko's dependency on the government corporate.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, I hear the Honorable Minister when he says that he's moving to reduce the dependency of Gaisuko on the government coffers. But Mr. Chair, whilst he's moving to do that, he is expending billions and billions of dollars on Gaisuko, of which we're seeing no return to the country. Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Minister say, why is it that Gaisuko at the various estates is unable to make the targets for the budgeted targets for sugar, especially at Iflot Estate?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, it seems that the honorable member wants to make some political statement. If he's that, I will ensure that I respond appropriately. From 2020 to 2023, we have employed over 1,400 new persons in the sugar industry. We have employed close to about 900 persons, additional 900 persons in the Kanji area. And I am very optimistic at the end of this year, we will reach the target that Gaisuko would have set itself.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, with with all the large numbers of employment, could the Honorable Minister say to this House how that impacted the nation after spending billions of taxpayers' dollars on Gaisuko?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Member failed to realize that workers and their families are benefiting from, Guyanese are benefiting. We are employing, making economic opportunities to Guyanese, unlike what they did when they were in government, dismissed over 7,000 workers from this sugar industry. So the gain that we are ensuring that the people of our country gain economically, right, to ensure that they enjoy a better life. That's the main purpose. And Gaisuko as a state industry, we will ensure that we revitalize Gaisuko. That is why Gaisuko now is moving into a different trend in terms of less dependency on government funds.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, while I do not disagree with the Minister that we need to employ people, we need to ensure that our families can meet the meals on tables and all the necessary. Mrs. Chair, for 3.5 years, we have heard in this House that we are modernizing, retooling, revitalizing, and all that for Gaisuko. But Mr. Chair, we have not made $1 single in profit from Gaisuko from since then, but we would have expended $40 billion. Mr. Chair, I'm asking the Minister again, can he name one of the returns from Gaisuko to the nation?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, if we could be factual, we took over an industry that was alien, that was the previous government didn't spend any money to revitalize this industry, dismissed over 7,000 workers, killed the village economy, all the economic activities in places like Wales, Rose Hall, Skeldon, and more, all the entire village economy died. We are revitalizing it. We are putting people into economic activities. We are moving up the village economies. We are creating more opportunities for people. And whilst Gaisuko now is being revitalized, we are recapitalizing, we are making Gaisuko in a more modern industry. And not long from now, Gaisuko will be an industry to be reckoned with and produce sugar for profitability in this country.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Ramjatan.
Mr. Chair. In view of their massive mechanization and all of that, has the Minister included in any study as to how many workers will be displaced as a result of mechanization?
Honorable Minister.
So Mr. Chair, as I said earlier, the workers that are in Gaisuko, no one will be displaced. We are trying to fill the gap to ensure that we, those persons who would have left earlier, fill those gaps so that we can reach the target that we set ourselves.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on Gaisuko, I heard the Honorable Member state that 58% of the $2 billion will go towards paying salaries and wages for workers. So can the Honorable Member state to this House the total number of admin staff currently at Gaisuko, and also the number of workers that are likely to benefit from this 58% of $2 billion? Just one. Secondly, can he state the highest paid position in Gaisuko at this moment, and also the lowest paid position in Gaisuko? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I will lay those figures over to the Honorable Member.
No, Mr. Speaker, we're considering a paper. The nation is listening. So I would love for you to let...
Honorable Minister, you don't have that at your fingertips? Or so you will lay over. Honorable Minister said he will lay over because remember we are asking specifically for the factory workers and also for highest paid and lowest paid, right? Those are the three things that we've asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to remind this House that when I asked the question how many workers were actually displaced under the coalition government, let them provide the 7,000. He never provided that information, so I hope it wouldn't be the same as today.
Thank you for that intervention, Honorable Member. Honorable Members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 21-212, Chart of Accounts 6321, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Let us move to chart of account under the same agency, 1301600, National Drainage and Irrigation Authority. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Mr. Maipol.
Mr. Speaker, this is the capital expense of 5,396,397,780, and it is for the provision of additional resources to facilitate critical drainage and irrigation works. Can the Honorable Minister disaggregate this sum, please?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, what we have done, there are a number of requests for machinery across the country where we are trying to place our own machinery in different parts of the country. And we have $1 billion, almost $908,771,706 allocated for the approval to purchase machinery. We already put system in place awaiting approval to purchase this machinery. What we have also done, we have advertised and we have worked a number of critical work in the Pomeroon. We want to ensure that Pomeroon becomes a productive area again. Places like Friendship, Marlborough, Martindale, Hackney, Stronghope, Karawab, Siriki, Jacklow, Abrams Creek, and a number of areas. What we are doing there, the President and I went there and we looked, the people normally flood there. We are now lifting the beds of these people to 1.5 meters so that the floods that they have suffered over the years would be avoided. Since then, over 40% of the farmers return back to the land as the program are going. That is a area we are spending we'll be spending $794,286. What we are also doing across the country, there are a number of canals that need rehabilitation. Places like Friendship, Den Amstel, Craig, Pleasant, Belladrum, Prophet, Garden Table, New Amsterdam, Manchester, Blackbush Polder, Bonasika, Myconi Creek, a number of areas where we are doing rehabilitation, we have these canals at a cost of $2,549,400,440. We are also doing studies now to do the design for the Hope Light Canal that we want to do. We are doing a number of those canals in Region 5 and Region 6. The designs are being done, and we have allocated $6.4 million to do that design. And by the end of this year, hopefully by February, we'll get the entire design done, and work will commence to do those Hope Light Canal, what we did at Hope there. Also, the PSIP project additional funds, because we see a number of projects are now that we have budgeted over this year. We have seen a number of new high performance. So the money that we have allocated to put on those projects, we have now had to have more capital sum to add because the work are moving apace. So we have $880,349,000 $5,435, giving you a total of $5,396,397,780. That is disaggregation.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I heard the Honorable Minister detailing briefly for us how this money will be expended. But may I remind the Honorable Member
Don't remind
that you
him, ask the
have
question.
11 days
ask
remaining
the question,
in the year of 2023. I heard the minister stated that the advertisement was done. Can you say to us whether, well, if systems are in place, you got 3 weeks to go to advertisement, which will take you into 2024. So can you say for this house when the advertisement will be posted, right? And the number of machineries that are expected to be procured from some of this money here that you're seeking. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, look, I have in my hand here all the advertisements that were done a long time ago when we reached there. We put all the process. Public tendering.
So,
Public tendering.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, the Minister is on his feet
So I have here
and he's providing the answers.
So we have all the procurement procedures that were put in place, and some area work have already commenced because these were critical work. Poor farmers are suffering. We can't wait on the afternoon AFC to come here and make the farmers punish. We have to execute the work. Now, the Honorable Member asked for the disaggregation of the machinery. We'll be purchasing 6 long-reach excavators. 1 will be going at Leg 1, Wakenham, Iflot. 2 will be going to the Pomeroon. We'll purchase 5 amphibious excavators. 1 pontoon, another additional pontoon will be going into the Pomeroon, and a number of other pumps that are right in the country which we'll be procuring to go to critical areas around the country, giving you a total of $908 million.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member,
Mr. Speaker, when we come to this house, we must be transparent. This is taxpayers' money you're talking about. The Honorable Minister, is the Honorable Minister saying to this nation that, is it, I heard you said the purchase was made or the purchases will be made?
Comrade, Mr. Speaker, I think the Honorable Member should listen. Don't listen. These machineries are in the country. The procurement procedure have already been completed in terms of putting all the procedure in place. We are awaiting the funds to be approved to complete the process. We haven't awarded anything, no contract was signed, and this will happen within days. Right?
Thank you, Minister.
So therefore,
Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So am I to understand the Honorable Member that this was not a public tender? You just prepared the tender document, got it there, and probably waiting to award the contract?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, it was public tender.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable
Okay,
Member,
Mr.
Ms.
Speaker,
Ferguson.
thank you very much. Since it was public tender, can the Honorable Member state to this National Assembly, 1, when the tender was publicized, in which papers, and whether you can make these clippings available to the National Assembly? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I will lay it over to the Honorable Member.
Honorable. Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipal.
Thank you, Comrade Speaker. Comrade Chair, the Honorable Minister disaggregated the sum of which we are told that $808 is additional sum to cater for expenditure on projects that are ongoing. And my interpretation is that the rollover projects that were budgeted for in 2023, the sum that was budgeted, because the work has moved at a pace, there is need for more sums of money to be budgeted or catered for now for expenditure. Can the Honorable Minister say if this includes the construction of the pump station at Charity, which in September 12th of 2023 had a 10% status completion, a total sum of $144 million that was awarded, which they budgeted $254 million for. And if so, sir, can the Honorable Minister tell us what is the current status in terms of percentage of completion for this specific project?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, that pump station is not in the estimate here for that. That is an ongoing project, rollover project. And all the pump station, as you rightly said, that the pump station at Charity, the current status is 14%, and we are working, and that this is a rollover project, and the completion date is next year. And you have a number of other projects that now have better performance.
Based on our budget this year, the money would have expended. That is why we are coming out for more money to complete those performance enhancements that has happened in those projects.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Member, Mr. Maipo.
Sir, could you please tell us what are the projects that this $880 million will cater for as additional sum on the current contract sum that they have?
Honourable Minister.
So, Mr. Chair, you have advance on some projects. You have Metamerzak, Port Dryne, Bellevue, Jimbo, Montrose, Ankerville, Letterkenny, and other projects in the Baracara area that we have started. You know, we start massive work in Baracara. We created new canals there. We are now building a massive structure shortly to ensure that the farmers get irrigation there. We recently give them equipment, farming equipment, tractors, plow, and we are doing 400 acres of beans production in Baracara now.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Member, Mr. Maipo.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade Chairman, the Honourable Minister was kind enough to point out the 4 additional pump stations that were awarded recently for advances. May I ask the Honourable Minister to provide the sum for each one of these pump stations in terms of what will be their advance payment?
I will lay it over, but if I could remember well, it's 15% of the right, but I will lay it over to the Honourable Member.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Member, Mr. Maipo.
Thank you, Comrade Speaker. Comrade Chairman, the Honourable Minister also indicated that for the purchase of machinery, $908 million will be used for that, and that he has already advertised and so on, and started the procurement process. Could the Honourable Minister guarantee this National Assembly that it will be awarded within the 11 days and delivered, because procurement process and financial management requires that you deliver the project, you deliver the item, and then you are fully paid. And if that does not happen, can the Honourable Minister guarantee this National Assembly that the monies will be returned to the consolidated fund on or before the 31st of December 2023?
Honourable Minister.
Sure, Mr. Chair. Yes, these machinery are in the country. It's a matter of days, as I said earlier, that we can advertise and execute payment and collect our machinery.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Member, Mr. Maipo.
Mr. Chair, could the Honourable Minister lay over, would the Honourable Minister be kind enough to lay over in the National Assembly the company or persons that they will be purchasing this machine from when the procurement process is finished, and at what cost?
Honourable Minister.
Of course, we are always accountable, and we can give the member anytime.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Chart of Account 1301600, Agency Code 21-212, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Same agency, Chart of Account 2802900, Sustainable Agriculture Development Project, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Honourable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, could the Honourable Minister, kindly state what are the project activities under this line item?
Honorable Minister.
These, Mr. Chair, these are ongoing project, being close to this project. Earlier, the honorable member and I were speaking. I invited him to go and visit the abattoir at Region 5. 2 Saturdays I went there. We have close to about 75% completion. We are now purchasing the equipment. We are doing the soil lab at Manripo at the Nari station there, where we are also purchase equipment.
We are doing an horticulture lab, which I said here that we signed a contract with Terry company in India. We have to purchase equipment there and help to build the building. So these are going projects from IDB inflows to these projects.
Thank you, Minister.
Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for chart of account 2802900 stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, same agency, chart of account 2803000 Hinterland Environmental Sustainable Agricultural Development Project, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, this very line item. Can the Honorable, I know it's money's coming in, so can the Honorable Member state what are some of the activities this provision will cater for? And I know we had an initial 500 million approved. Can you say what percentage of that money to date would have been expended to date?
Honorable Minister.
So again here, Mr. Chair, this is an IFAD project, and I want to say when we assumed government in 2020, this project was about to take away from Guyana, because this project was underperforming. Today, we have moved this project. When I went to Rome recently, I have discussed with IFAD official, and we have had an extension to this project. And there are $189 million, which will benefit 14,520 persons in the hinterland community. And I can go through the list of projects in the villages, like for example, revetment of Swamp Bridge walkway, construction of ICT hub, implementation of mess hall and upgrade of hot meal kitchen, and a number of projects we could go through. So this is a continuation of the IFAD project. The $500 million that was budgeted over, we have completed that, and these are additional projects in the hinterland which will benefit the village economy and benefit the villages.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 21-212, chart of account 2803000, that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Minister, and your staff. Honorable members, I draw your attention to item 4, Agency Code 26-264, chart of account 4404600, Ministry of Natural Resources, Petroleum Management. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for this Agency 26-264, item 4404000, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, item number 5, Agency Code 31-311, Ministry of Public Works, Chart of Accounts 6321. And I propose the question that the sum stated for this agency stands as part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the honorable member, I know this is subsidies to the Transport and Harbors Department, but they're now seeking an additional 79 million Guyana dollars. And the explanation given in the remarks legend, Mr. Chair, provision of additional resources to support Transport and Harbors Department. So can the honorable member state this new provision of $79 million will be catering for? So that's my first question.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the honorable member for the question. Mr. Chairman, I believe that one of the things that the people of Guyana would be very appreciative of is the significant improvements that has come to our ferry service since August of 2020 when the PPPC came to office. There are a number of initiatives that were put in place. For example, number one, we increased the number of trips scheduled per day. We put in place online booking. We have now put in place an additional vessel. Yesterday, and that is to the Region 2 area. Yesterday I did see a social media post complaining about late departure of the vessel to Region 1. But the passenger, the person who made the post, didn't tell the whole story. 2 boats departed for Region 1 yesterday. 2 boats. The Barima, fully loaded with cargo and passengers, to Port Kaituma, and the MV Militia, which departed later into the evening to Mabaruma, fully laden with cargo and with passengers. Now, the people of Region 1 used to have a service once every month, once every 6 weeks. Now, could you imagine on the same day, 2 vessels going to Region 1, one to Port Kaituma, one to Mabaruma to ensure passengers get there. And Mr. Chairman, that is in an environment where the propaganda said that people were fleeing Region 1 because of the Venezuela issue. That is in that environment. So, Bartica, people are more satisfied. They can get their vehicles, their trucks on there. In Wakenham and Leg 1, the people can get their paddy and other agricultural products to market in a reliable, well-organized service. So the 79 million that we're asking for should not be a cause for complaint anywhere. It should be a cause for jubilation, because this is for additional support to fuel, to ensure the joy of the people who utilize these services, and the supplies that come to the market are adequate, and that everybody will be fully satisfied. So that is why we are seeking these additional subs. This is as a result of more trips, and if the honorable member would want to get a breakdown of all of the trips, and they will be able to see how many trips per month and all the rest of it, and the consumption per trip. This is really and improvement. And I noticed the Honorable Member, Mr. Ramjatan, Mr. Chairman, is having a very nice smirky smile. He's my good friend. One of the reasons why we have this problem with the heavy consumption of fuel is because of the age of these vessels. And we have to keep maintaining these vessels while we bring in new vessels in stock. So once we are able to get new vessels, which is something that we'll be looking for, and we hope when we come to this house, where we could retire the 48-year-old and we could retire those who've been going forever, we will be able to get fuel consumption at a manageable rate as it relates to passenger load and distance, and without having to put extra burden on people of increasing fares. So this subsidy for fuel is to keep fares in check, to continue the efficiency, just to ensure that we have the continuous service, the more trips that are being made, and Mr. Ramjatan can keep smiling. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mrs. Finance.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Minister say what proportion of this sum, if any, will be utilized specifically with transport and harbor in Region 7? I noticed mention was made of Bartica in Region 7. And also I know if the Honorable Minister could also say whether or not any action is being taken through transport and harbor to address the issue that has been faced in Bartica right now with the speedboat operators charging $3,000 per passenger when Transport and Harbor put out a notice saying that should only be $2,500. These issues have been there for a while, and I'm hoping that some amount of these funds will be utilized so that we can get some aid in Bartica for these charges that are imposed upon passengers, and because they do not utilize the ferry as their main means of transportation. Barticians go by the speedboat service. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the Honorable Member for the question. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Member would be advised by members of the Region 7 community that the service has been increased, even the days when they were not usually serviced to Bartica. Because we've been able to put in place additional vessels, we've been able to carry vessels on those days as well. So the actual consumption of fuel will be based upon the amount of trips that go to a particular area. So when we're talking about fuel, what we procure fuel in bulk. Transport and Harbors procures fuel from Guy Oil based upon a procurement process, and Guy Oil provides fuel in bulk. It is monitored and measured based upon trips, consumption, weight, distance traveled, and it is logged. So that's how you deal with fuel. As it relates to the issue of charging extra by speedboat operators. Mr. Chairman, all speedboat services in Guyana operate and are regulated by MARAD, the Maritime Administration Department, of which I'm the Minister responsible. The speedboats put themselves into a turn system, and they are organized by their respective associations. So, if there are 40 boats and they have turns, they meet who have turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and they load on a daily basis and traverse the rivers based upon a principal approach. Anyone who's charging more certainly is not doing so with the blessings of MARAD, and I can honestly say, based upon my engagement with the various speedboats association, not with the speedboat associations in the various areas. When we get these complaints, because of all of the stellings, they are monitors. Every time a boat is dispatched, there is a monitor that could tell you the amount of passengers, what time the boat leave, and even in some instances, as we advance safety, the names of all passengers in case there is a difficulty you could account for it. What happens is that some people want to leave, that's what we are told, before time, before the boat is filled with the amount of passengers, and they say, let us go, it's getting late. So sometimes the captain make his own local arrangement with those to charge extra to compensate for the empty seats. But as far as we are concerned, I could assure the honorable member, MARAD nor the government of Guyana have not sanctioned, approved, or condoned overcharging from minibuses, from speedboats, and even when it comes to aircraft, fares, any fare that is being hiked. As the Minister of Transportation, we pay careful attention to these and we have been monitoring it. So if there are unscrupulous operators or there are local arrangements between operators and passengers, there's hardly anything that we can do, but it would be a good opportunity, since the honorable member would have asked the question, to remind the traveling public, especially at this Christmas time, when we could have that kind of exploitation. The government of Guyana, the Maritime Administration Department, the Ministry of Public Works have not approved
any increases in fares for speedboats, and I would also take the opportunity to say
minibuses as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Member, Ms. Finance.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, Minister Indar.
Just to add to what Minister Ajil just said. 3 weeks ago, we had a campaign where 8 of those boats were detained and some of them were suspended because of that practice. So it's not that we received the reports and we didn't act. We acted on them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm happy that the Honorable Jill said all that he said there, because I can make a very clear statement. Ms. Teixeira is there also, and I know that she'll be able to say, to confirm that there is absolutely no speedboat operating under the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association that charge $2,500 as the Transport and Harbor is prescribed as the fare. It is not in existence, sir. So I'm going to ask the Honorable Minister right now, and so I'm going to make this statement, that there is no system that passengers put in place. There is no way passengers asking to go before the boat is loaded and all of that. That is not true, sir. So whatever report is going to the minister...
Honorable Member, you're saying what the minister responded as his answer is untruthful?
Yeah, sir, I am.
Okay, I'll stop you there, because I don't know where your facts are. He's the competent authority.
No, sir, he didn't say that as his facts. He said that is what is being reported to him, and I am giving clarity to him, sir.
But at this stage here, please, don't give him clarity. Give him a question, and then let him give us his
My
position.
question, thank you, sir. My question to the Honorable Minister is, as from today onward, what action or what penalties is the minister prepared to invoke upon speedboat operators operating under the Bartica Speedboat Owners Association that they all are charging $3,000 per passenger, and never once did they have it lower after the COVID pandemic?
I will say honorable minister's preference to the honorable, or priority to, and
Mr. Chair, I think my colleague, Minister Indar, indicated what has already been done. When we had the situation with the Demerara Harbor Bridge. We had speedboat operators at Greenville who went into that practice to make a hustle, so to speak, in Guyanese language. We took them off. And we brought boats from as far as Perica to provide the service across the Demerara River, and they learned their lesson because they were not earning for a period of time. The ones that overcharge passengers, once we get those reports and we mount sting operations and they are caught, and the honorable member, I will make this public so everybody can hear. We have applications for persons to enter the TORN system. So persons who want to carry out mischief and do that, we will make space for those who want to get into the TORN system. And we will enforce that like we would have done. But you know, Mr. Chairman, this is something that passengers must know. They're not left at the mercies of a speedboat operator or conducting a bus or anything. You can demand your rights. You know, people say people take bribe, but it takes two people to make that transaction complete. It takes two people to make that overcharging complete. A speedboat operator is asking for more and a passenger who's complying. There is a monitor on every stelling, and I'm making this public today, Mrs. Chairman, and I thank you for allowing me. Passengers can report to the monitor. The monitor is uniform and it is marked monitor, and he is at every loading place. If a speedboat is overcharging you, report it to the monitor, and the MARAD and the Ministry of Public Works will take the necessary action. We rely on voluntary compliance, moral suasion, but we are not afraid to use the fist when it's necessary to maintain law and order and to protect citizens from being exploited. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Minister Indar, anything to add? No. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm happy to hear the honorable member, trying to make life easy for our people by providing additional trips, so forth. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, to the honorable member, I note here you're seeking $79 million. I have two questions for you. One, would portion of this money go towards the two speedboats that you have operating in the between the New Amsterdam Rossignol route? If so, what percentage of this $79 million goes to that service? The second question would also be, we know that GAIL, because you said earlier that GAIL is the main provider of fuel for TNHD. So we know that the demand for fuel, is great out there. So can you say whether this $79 million would be expended by the 31st of December 2023, if the monies are not fully expended, whether it will go back into the consolidated funds, right?
So,
Mr.
Chairman, the two water taxis that ply the Rossignol, New Amsterdam route was catered for and adequately supplied in the last provisions that we saw. This $79 million are mainly for the ferries, the bigger, larger vessels that are plying the Essequibo River, whether it's the Bartica, whether it's the Essequibo Coast, Leg One-Way Canal, or where we are going. As it relates to if this money will be spent, the only reason why we were able to come to a finite number of 79 million is based upon projections, calculations of what is required to take us to December 31st. So the money definitely will be spent. And it won't be 79 million to cover, this is just the subsidy that we're asking the government to add to what transport and harbors already expend. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, would the honorable member be kind enough to say to this House the total number of where they want to calculate it in gallons or liter that this $79 million will cater for. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, it is about 18,800 gallons per week that is consumed.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipon.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair, can the Honorable Minister say from this sum of $79 million, if we are also covering the cost in terms of fuel for a boat that I see operating from Parika to Supernam? I think the boat's name is Hercules.
Honorable Minister.
The answer is yes.
Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipon.
Mr. Speaker, may I ask the Honorable Minister if he can provide some information on this new boat that we are hearing of for the first time?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I think this matter was His Excellency the President in his visit to Essequibo and the demands of the people of Essequibo for additional service. The President says we will make every effort to procure additional vessels for service. The demand was great, and we searched and we located that there was a fit-for-purpose vessel available locally, and we engaged that person on what we call a trial basis. So we operated the service, so many trips to Supernam, so many trips to Wakenham, so many trips to Bartica, checking on both timing, speed, fuel consumption, and at the same time, during that trial, improving the service. We are at the stage now, having done the trials, and based upon the arrangements during those trials, that we are looking now to properly acquire that vessel as a part of the government of Guyana's assets.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Mahipon.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair, may I ask the Honorable Minister, who just said that the government is now looking to acquire this new vessel, what is the cost that the government is looking to expend for the acquisition of this new vessel?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I would say at an appropriate time, when negotiations and everything else is completed, we'll be able to make that disclosure to the National Assembly.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. May I ask the Honorable Minister, the boat has been on a trial run, and it's consuming fuel, it is also have staff and so on. Is the ministry renting this boat from this individual? And if so, would the Honorable Minister be able to say what is the cost per month?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the understanding that we entered with the supplier during the period of trials is that we will stand the cost of fuel and other incidentals to the operation while we log, check, and verify. So we have been dealing with that.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member.
Mr. Chair, could the Honorable Member say why is the boat not working currently, and it has not been for the past 3 weeks?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, if we could have an independent person to give us a report from Parika, the Honorable Member would know that the MP Hercules is sailing as we speak.
Honorable Member.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair, I would like to verify that it has not been working.
Or you want to withdraw and ask if the vote was rephrased that? Because you made a very positive statement, which...
That is not working, and I'm conforming that, sir, to you because I travel on the...
But you should have confirmed it before you were so positive anyway. Go ahead. Let's hear your
Perhaps
question.
we could verify by taking a team and go like how we visited the bond at Sussex Street in a parliament before. And if the Honorable Minister is confident to say to this House who's the individual that they have engaged with this vote, it is I'm putting to you, sir, the same person with that bond.
Honorable Minister, I will invoke the issue of withholding name because I don't want anything to arise and the person can't defend themselves.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to read a report that I have
on the sailing.
On my phone, which is normal, that I get from Transport and Harbors. The MV Hercules departed Puerto Rico for Suriname at 9:38 a.m. on the 19th of December 2023. Adults, 90 passengers. Children, 6. Pensioners, 6. Total passengers, 102. Total passenger revenue, $35,400. In terms of cargo, B class, 24, C4, D6, E8. Total spaces, 56. Total vehicles, 42. Vehicle revenue, 120,000. Freight note revenue, 224,203. Tonnage, 115.64 tons. Total revenue, 379,608, which is standard every time a vessel departs. This is the report of 9:38 this morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade Chairman, may I ask if the Honorable Minister can confirm that from the time the trial period began to October 19th, which is today, to December 19th, sorry, which is today, that this boat has worked continuously during that period or every day providing a service?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the boat operated in keeping with an agreement of the trials that was established with the provider based upon the engagements that were made. And I'm saying to you now, the boat is currently sailing
With an engagement with the government looking to acquire it as an asset of the state.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipol.
Thank you, Comrade Chair. Comrade Chair, would the Honorable Minister be kind enough to say what is the total consumption in terms of fuel for this very boat per trip?
Minister, I thought I heard. Total consumption. Per trip.
Mr. Chairman, consumption is determined by 1, tonnage, tide, and distance, where you're traveling to. So it will vary.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chair, I'm not sure if I heard the answer correctly to a previous question in terms of if the Honorable Minister could tell this House the dates from the time this boat started to work on trial to the 19th of December, the specific days when this boat worked the Essequibo River. And would the Honorable Minister confirm that the destination and departure is Puerto Rico to Suriname, Suriname to Puerto Rico?
Honorable Minister, I think I have heard most of that, but go ahead. The dates I didn't hear.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to confirm to the House that during the engagement for the trials of the MV Hercules, we sailed to Suriname, we sailed to Bartica, we sailed to Wakenham, we sailed to Leguan.
He wanted also the dates of sailing.
Mr. Chair, that will require me going out to transport to get the logs of which they,
Late over. Late over.
Thank you.
Is
Honorable member, I'll give you one more question, and then I have my very good friend who I'm giving a lot of priority to today, Ms. Ferguson, to take the floor.
I may have to turn your very good friend to get some priority.
That will be difficult.
So, sir, could the Honorable Minister verify that he will lay over the dates? And the other question is, in the event...
But come on, the honorable members, the minister just said that. And now you want him to verify a commitment he gave?
I didn't hear him say
Come on. Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson, you have the floor.
Sir, I have a different question.
Come on.
Thank you very much.
Honorable member, Ms. Ferguson, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. What a revelation. But then again, we just learned, by way of a question from my colleague, of a private vessel providing services in the Essequibo River. The Honorable Minister responded by saying that they're working out whatever arrangement for the government to acquire this boat at a later time. And at the set time, the government, through Transport and Harbors Department, is providing fuel to operate the vessel, right? To the honorable member, though the government is providing free fuel, can I get from you whether a cost is being applied to the users of this vessel? And can you provide to us what is the cost for transport, for passenger and also cargo and vehicle? Thank you. Because remember, it's free fuel they're getting.
Honorable Minister.
Whatever is the fare for a passenger to Suriname, whether it's on the Makaura, whether it's the Canoan, whether it's the Sabanto, wherever vessel sailing, same fare. Cost per ton, same. Cost per vehicle, same. Whatever is the cost of a passenger to go to Bartica, if the boat going to Bartica, same fare. Cost for a car, same fare. Tons per canter, same fare. Nothing has changed. There is nothing like free fuel. We are subsidizing. Right, Mr. Chairman? I just want to make that very clear. Transport and Harbors operations have always, even in the time of the coalition, was subsidized. Fuel was subsidized. There is not a private man that is charging passengers a fare. It is a Transport and Harbors that is utilizing a vessel during a period of trials that is now being sought to acquire, and everything was operating just as standard Transport and Harbors operation. I don't think I could be clearer than that.
Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I think the honorable member would have made it a little more clearer, because the impression that I got is that this private vessel is actually being operated by private persons. So he has now rectified that by saying that those who are operating the vessel is actually Transport and Harbors Department thing. But my only concern, though, Mr. Speaker, and perhaps the minister could consider this, is that since it is a private vessel, though not procured yet by the government, but the government is using taxpayers' money that procure fuel, subsidizing, perhaps they can look at reconsidering, reducing the cost rather than having that standard cost as against Sabanto, Canoan, and Burima, and the other vessels. Just a consideration.
Honorable Minister, just a consideration.
Mr. Chair, I used to play soccer when I was younger.
And I see to your right is one of the presidents of one of our better football clubs.
Yes. I used to play soccer when I was much younger. And when we are off the field, we seem to know every move as against when you're on the field. So whenever you get sent off the field, you used to be able to tell the other players, move so, move so, move so, but when you're on the field, it's a different story. So that's all I would say for now in response to that comment. That it would appear that some of us who were on didn't know that we could provide additional services. We didn't know that we could improve the service to the people out there. And now that we are doing that, we 2020 vision. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Just before I entertain another question, we do have coming up in February, Parliament against the Diplomatic Corps in soccer. I am practicing as goalie. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson, you're finished? Thank you. Honorable Member, Mr. Holder.
Thank you, Committee Chair. Committee Chair, it would be remiss of me if I don't contribute or ask the Minister a few questions. I've been flying the Puerto to, traveling from Puerto to Supanam, Supanam to Puerto on a regular basis. In fact, just recently I did. The MV Sabanto, I think the Minister should be well aware, and his team has been malfunctioning for a number of months, almost 6 months. Almost 6 months. I guarantee you almost 6 months, 4 to 6 months. The last time I said 4 months, so it's now about 6 months. And it has been having a negative impact on farmers, on everybody that is using the ferry system. Now, the question is, the Minister was talking about time and distance. I know distance has not changed, but timing certainly has. The boat now takes 2 hours.
What's the question?
I'm coming to the question.
Yeah, but you have to shorten the preamble.
I have to give some context, Comrade Speaker.
Ask the question.
All right.
We've had a lot of preambles today.
The time, it's taking longer, Comrade Speaker, so I'm right there. So I want to know how is that impacting in terms of fuel, and we're talking about fuel here, how is that impacting this 79 million? And when the Minister intends to fix it, because it's been on his watch for the last 4 to 6 months.
Honorable Minister.
Chair, you would recall that the MV Sabanto and the MV Kanawan were vessels that came to Guyana as a result of an engagement with the Chinese government. Those vessels have been operating the Essequibo route, and they have served us very well. The vessel that is under question by the honorable member engaged, or I should say encountered, a difficulty with its one engine. The normal trip to the Essequibo on the MV Sabanto or the Kanawan is 90 minutes. 90 minutes. As a result of the malfunctioning of that one engine, the boat has taken a longer time. And he's justifying by his question why we had to even move towards acquiring additional vessels, because every time there's a difficulty, there's a buildup of traffic. While the boat is sailing, Makor is on the boat working to fix the engine. We had a choice of taking the boat out of service and park it until it's fixed, or we go with a boat that is not as fast as used to be, but continue to provide the service, because the trucks with the gas, the trucks with the provisions, the truck with the coconut water, the trucks with all the products coming out need to get out, and the supplies to get into the Essequibo need to go. So we made a decision that we will continue to sail while work is being done. While the work is being done, because of the nature of the vessel, some of the spares that were required were not readily available in Guyana. We had to ship the spares in, but not 6 months, sir. I stand here, sir, and I would like to say that we should not use the National Assembly to create hysteria and spread misinformation. It has not been 6 months. It's not, it's just over 6 weeks we're having this problem. Just over 6 weeks. We have another problem where another one of the same vessels
need to actually go into dry dock to get a part underneath fixed because we can't get it fixed. But we can't do that now at Christmas time. We have to time these things. And when you take it out of service to get that fixed, we have to do rearranging of the other vessels, the Makaura and others, the Malali that is out there, to make sure we keep the service going. The bottom line is that we are happy to tell the people of Guyana, with all the challenges, with these aging vessels and the difficulty of spare parts, we have kept the service and we have kept our faith with the people, ensuring that they could get to their destination, and in many instances, improving the efficiency of the service, sir. So it is true we have a problem, and while we are talking here, I haven't gotten the final report, but we have the men on board working because the parts have arrived in country and they're working to get it sorted out.
Thank you, Minister. A case of half a loaf is better than no bread, right? Honorable Member, Mr. Holder.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. The boat obviously had a number of other problems over the course of 6 months. But aging seemed to be a problem, according to the minister. So you got to get new vessels. So, yes, I'm coming to the question. I'm right here. How old is the Sabanto? And how old is the Hercules? Because age is a problem.
Okay. I put the question to the minister.
Mr. Chair, I don't know. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm happy that this afternoon it seemed that the National Assembly have come alive to the issue of transport and harbors and the provision of services to the people of Guyana. What I do know, the MV Sabanto and the MV Kanawan came into operation while the PPPC was in government after 1992. That I know for sure, because that was as a result of the intervention.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs
will be able to tell us more about that.
Will be able to tell you because he had it redesigned.
Thank you, sir. The second thing is...
And though I signed the contract in 2005, we had some issues with designing it. Yes, I did in China.
Yes, sir. Now, sir, the other issue, and I'll say this, quite recently we had a distinguished trade mission from the United States visiting here, and one of the engagements that I had with them was to help us to find fit-for-purpose vessels that might be available for auctions and from the U.S. market, because acquiring new vessels takes years. So while somebody might want to say, you're buying an old vessel, to get a new boat is 2 years.
More.
Or even more. we were able to get the government of India through GRSE to build the MV militia in record time and deliver it to Guyana. And that's not normal. This is not a canoe we're buying, it's boats. So you have to see what the market has to offer so that you'll be able to get to the rescue. But we are looking at acquiring fit-for-purpose vessels that will, one, improve consumption, two, time in terms of travel, and certainly, as the number one priority, and I should have said that first, safety. Safety. Because the same gentleman who would have asked questions about, the MV Hercules that they saw on the Escriba River, they would have seen that when it started, passengers were actually standing in the sun. And I think the question that Mr. Mahai Paul is asking is that during the period when we were seeking to improve on the accommodations of passengers, you want to know why the boat wasn't sailing, but it was all in an intent to improve the conditions of passengers and make sure we have it in a way to deal with the high peak Christmas season. But the issue here of age is something that all of us in this house must recognize. At this time, fit for purpose is what is required while you go to the next level. And I've been making this point here in the National Assembly, Mr. Chairman, and please allow me to make it again for emphasis. The government of Guyana has had to be engaged in two things since we came to office. Fixing while we are modernizing. We got to keep a bridge, we got to keep an old bridge moving while we build a new bridge. We got to keep the old ferry sailing while we buy new ferries. And that's what we have to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I think we have exhausted this, the questions for this item, and I would now like to put the question that the sum stated for 31-311, Chart of Account 6231, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, let's turn to same agency 31-312. Chart of Account 6251, maintenance of roads. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I note that the ministry is seeking an additional sum of $600 million. They had an initial provision of $2.7 billion and then a further provision of $500 million in August 2023. My first question to the honorable member, one, based on the explanation given in the remarks legend, what can you explain for us what is meant by expanded work program?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, the first thing I would like to bring to your attention, this is provisions under the current budget, where we do maintenance of roads. The honorable member served at one time, so she's supposed to know what that means. It includes the more than 100 plus small contractors who are engaged monthly to ensure that the roads are properly weeded, drained, the sand that we are picking up, you pass and see the people picking up the sandbags, the oil that is discharged on the road by recklessness and so on is clean to ensure safety on the roadways. And then the big job that everybody wants, my potholes, my potholes, my potholes, my potholes. But Mr. Chairman, it gives me the opportunity to report to the House and to the nation concerning why we need more money. For example, we went into Melanie Damishana, sir, where the roads were not maintained or repaired forever. And we did 13 roads in Melanie Damishana. A total of 13, let me just get it right, 13 kilometers, 13 roads, sorry, 3.2 kilometers of road. We went into Nonpareil and did 6 roads. That is not capital projects where your water contractors. This is the special projects unit of the ministry. Recently we went into Queenstown, sir. 8 roads, 4.96 kilometers. We went into Albertown, the special projects unit, did 9 roads, 4 kilometers. Went into Kingston, did 3 roads. Went into Camberville, did 2 roads. Went into Fowles, did 17 roads. Went into Enterprise, did 14 roads. Went into Strathspey, did 8, Ogle 1, Haslington North 4, Strathspey Area J 3, and more 5. You know what we've been doing, Mr. Chair, that is different to what used to be done before? When we go in a village that had a bad road, we used to patch the bad section. Now when we carry the special projects unit in an area, we do everything. So when we come out of that village is complete. We did it in Little India, we did it in Little Africa, we did it at number what else in the quarantine, 58. That is our approach. So while we have contractors who are doing capital projects, road rehab, building new roads, maintenance, we've had to maintain, sir, the Quarantine Highway. Right now, the Quarantine Highway is undergoing a major rehab where we are currently building and expanding the 99 structures to be able to accommodate a wider road. But that road was built how many years ago? The weight, the traffic, gone. We have to keep maintaining it. Those who travel the Linden-Soesdijk Highway would know of the waves that have developed on the Linden-Soesdijk Highway and how it is unsafe. The special projects unit had to go and do sections. You would have seen the junction where Soesdijk meet the East Bank. We just had to finish doing that. The entire East Bank corridor, and more particularly the Grove area, where it seems that we have a fault line in terms of the soil. We have had to keep moving into that. And Mr. Chairman, while we're doing all of this, it's not just the road we got to do. Sometimes we got to do the shoulders. We got to do the drains to make sure the water is draining. So this money that is being sought is because of the volume of work that has been done. We have to pay for asphalt. And one of the most expensive components of road maintenance is the cost of asphalt. So we have to pay for asphalt, and we have to be able to move machinery and all the rest of it around to be able to get the work done. So, Mr. Chair, government of Guyana can be criticized for many things, but one of the things you can't criticize us for is our track record where it comes to answering to the needs of people where their roads are concerned. We haven't been able to do everybody, but we are doing times over better than we have ever done. And I think this is clear in the eyes of everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, while I hear the honorable member, there's a clear distinction between new road and maintenance of road. Clear distinction. But this provision that is being sought, this 600 million, can you provide to this National Assembly a disaggregation? And you'll also inform the House whether Haslington North is included in your work program. That's one. Secondly, and Sophia, because I think the last supplementary paper, I did advocate for works to be done in the Sophia area and also Parfait Harmony. So can you say whether those areas are in your work program? Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
That Haslington North, we did 4 roads, and the cost of that operation was about $19.891 million. As it relates to Sophia, and I know sometimes when we speak in this house, we are playing to the gallery. Sophia, sir, is benefiting from roads under the miscellaneous roads program. We can't maintain what is not there. We got to go in and build roads. And what we've been doing in Sophia, and the Sophia people could see, all is not yet done, is concrete roads. And that is being done under the miscellaneous roads program.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Finance. Use the other mic. See, we are speaking of miscellaneous roads, and only the miscellaneous roads might work.
Mr. Chair, I want to ask Honorable Minister, he spoke extensively on maintenance of roads, and I know this is an issue everybody's concerned about. Particularly when it comes to region number 7, Bartica, I do note that we had allocations there for both maintenance and building of roads, particularly the 9th of August. In that,
Well, let me help you frame the question if you have a difficulty in so doing.
I don't have a difficulty, sir.
Well, get to the question, please.
I am getting to the question.
Please, ask the question.
But, sir, I am asking the question.
You're making a lot of statements, please.
Sir, I am asking specifically about the Bartica roads.
Right?
So I cannot just come and say, just bluntly, I just have
Well,
to
I can help you
give
frame it if you have a difficulty in so doing.
Sir, I would ask you to help me. If I give you the scenario, if you want to help frame the question.
The question would be very simple. Are the roads in Bartica, you can list
That's
First
my
Avenue, said,
question.
listed here for maintenance. We're dealing with maintenance of road, not miscellaneous, maintenance of road.
And I'm getting to that question.
And I'm
But
asking you
that
to
is
get
not my
there now.
question.
I'm asking you to get there now.
Sir, I seldom ask questions, and when I ask questions, it is because I am representing a specific constituency.
And I have no
sir.
problems with you representing your constituency. I have a problem with the speeches before the question. And I'm asking you to get the question. If not, I will put the question.
Sir, I don't think you even give me the chance to even get a question.
Honorable members, I think we have exhausted the questioning on this item, and I now put the question
Mr. Speaker,
that the sum stated.
Mr. Speaker, can I have one question, please?
I now put the question
Mr. Speaker,
that the sum stated, for Agency Code 31312, Chart of Account 6251, maintenance of road, stand part of the estimates. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, item 31-312, Chart of Account 1902800, equipment. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Ferguson. Honorable Member,
Yes.
Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll just want to hear me out for 1 second.
No, if you have a question, I don't want to.
All right.
Go ahead.
You know, this is a time to be nice. It's joy.
And that
joy
I
and
have been
peace. Joy and
extremely
peace. It's
nice.
Christmas. Love. You got to show love.
Love, exactly. I agree with you.
So, Mr. Speaker, as we're considering this particular line item, equipment, 300 million was actually procured sometime early in the year. I know the ministry is now coming for an additional $362 million. And this is a capital item. This is a capital item. And the explanation in the remarks legend, provision of additional resources to facilitate purchase of equipment. So perhaps the honorable member can explain to this House what equipment is to be procured, whether, why is it that we're coming 11 days short of the end of the year, why this couldn't come in budget 2024 that will be in another 2 years, right? And secondly, what is the purpose for this equipment and where exactly this equipment will be assigned?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the honorable member for the question. Mr. Chairman, because of the expanded work program, and this is not going to stop, we have, every time you build a road, you have to have crews that will do the maintenance. If you had 15 roads and you had a crew to do maintenance, when you have 3,500 roads, you have to have several crews to do maintenance. So what we're doing with the monies that we are seeking is to provide for 2 additional crews. And the equipment that are being procured, I could list it so that the honorable member and all others could. We're trying to buy a pneumatic road roller, a single drum road roller, wheel loader, tandem road roller,
mini excavators, tipper truck, backhoe, water truck, tractor truck, hauler, tipper truck, gooseneck trailer,
tandem roller, pneumatic roller, skid steers 2, a canter, and graders. Now, I noticed that somebody asked my honorable colleague, Minister Mustafa, and he went to pains to explain that these are things that you already went out for in terms of procurement, starting the procurement process. All the equipment that we are seeking to buy here are going to be bought from companies who have submitted their bids with the item being here in Guyana. So if this National Assembly, or I should say when this National Assembly approves this financial paper, the Ministry of Finance will be able to signal to the Ministry of Public Works, the resources are now available for you to consummate and bring to conclusion your procurement process for the acquisition of these items. And like I said, this is all for the increasing of the teams. And it means in 2024, we'll be hitting the road running with additional equipment, more teams, more places, rather than just going in to Enterprise and spend 2 months there, or going to Little India and spend 3 weeks there. We'll be able to multiply that by three different crews in different places working. That's what we're seeking to do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, follow up to the honorable member. I heard the honorable member clearly stated that they already went out to procurement, right? So they're now waiting for these monies to start the purchasing. And these items will be procured from local providers. So can the honorable member state to this National Assembly, one, whether the procurement was
done publicly, when it was advertised in the newspaper, and secondly, the name or names of the local companies that will provide these services when the monies are made available, and when, sir, they will be delivered.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Member, for the question. Mr. Chairman, the Procurement Act of 2003 provides for different forms of procurement. The items that are being procured are not sold by 75 people in Guyana. We wrote and got the approval of the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board to engage in restrictive tendering for providers that provide these kinds of equipment, based upon the submission of the bids and the evaluation and all the rest of it that was done by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. We are ready to proceed and go forward. But these are all the suppliers. So every heavy-duty equipment in this country was asked, put in your bid, you got rollers, what cost? You got it ready, this is that, this is that, this is that. So that is where we are.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and I thank the honourable member for his response. So you went to restrictive tendering. So by doing so, you should know by now the name or names of the company or companies that would have submitted whether their bids or their quotation. Can this honourable assembly be provided with such information as to the name of the companies that would have already submitted their information to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, the honourable member is asking me to do the job of the Ministry of Finance, National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, of which I'm not the gazetted minister responsible for, and I cannot offer her any assistance in that regard.
Thank you very much, Minister. Honourable Member, Ms. Ferguson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the response from the honourable member is unacceptable. If the Ministry of Finance, the National Tender Board, went out and do the restrictive tendering, by right, the chairman of that tender board will write to the permanent secretary of the ministry to inform the permanent secretary that, well, look, approval has been given to X company to provide whatever type of machinery. So you should have that information, sir.
Mr. Chair, I think we're getting some lines crossed. Mr. Chair, this is how the Procurement Act works. My permanent secretary, who is the accounting officer,
Writes to the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board requesting restrictive tendering.
The National Procurement and Tender Administration Board replies to the permanent secretary saying approve or not approve. Then the bid is launched. Every person who is approved to participate in the restrictive process collects documents, and they have to submit it at the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board by a particular time at a particular date. The National Procurement and Tender Administration Board evaluates those bids, goes to Cabinet for its no objection,
and then it is award. At this stage,
the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board would have to issue an award to the Ministry of Public Works before we purchase. And then is when we will know that the pneumatic roller is coming from John X, the grade is coming from YZB, the skits there is coming from Shorty G. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mrs. Ferguson.
Mr. Chair, the honorable member hasn't answered my question. He just gave an explanation how the process works. The permanent secretary wrote to MPTAB seeking there no objection for restrictive tendering. It is now the permanent secretary to invite Annette Ferguson, anybody else, 3 persons, whoever they want, to submit their bid. When that, so the ministry should have that information, honorable member. Which company or companies they have engaged after getting the approval from MPTAB regarding restrictive tendering. That is the question, and I would like to have a response to that. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, I thought I heard where the stage is and you haven't been informed, but go ahead and you can respond.
I stand by my
Thank
previous...
you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, I think this exhausts our questions for this line item. Mrs. Ferguson? No? Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated under this agency charter of account 1902800 equipment, that the sum stated herein now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. I want to thank Minister, and the person to his far right is the head of the Special Projects Unit, who has brought so much of relief to a lot of persons along all those bad roads, and I know he's working on old echoes at this time. Thank you, Mr. Giddings. Thank you, PS. Honorable members, we now turn to item 6. Agency Code 40-406, Ministry of Education, Post-Secondary, Tertiary Education, Chart of Account 2608100, Skills Development and Employability Project. And I propose a question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. The honorable member. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Chart of Accounts 2608100 stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. We can now go to item number 7. Agency Code 47-471, Ministry of Health, Policy Development and Administration, Chart of Account 6294, Other. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Minister is just getting in place. I'll invite the honorable member, Dr. Karen Cummins, to ask her question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 6294, on the other, the voted provision for this item was $863,680,000. Now what's being requested is more than 25% increase, 259,000. So what is the expanded work program and additional resources that's needed? Could you disaggregate what comes on the other?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Under this heading, we would normally pay for, well, assist persons to get medical help. So under this heading, we have been providing monies for persons who need dialysis. We have also been providing resources for people who need cardiac services, so at CHI and so forth. We have also been providing prosthesis for patients who need it, IVP for those patients, IVF for those patients who need it, hip replacements to get the implants, knee implants. So from this heading, we do provide for these patients. The sums that are requested are for patients that we would be providing assistance to before the year comes to an end.
So is there an increase in the cost, or is it the increase in the number of persons accessing this service?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's a number of persons.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Dr. Cummings.
6265, other transport, travel, and postage. There's a voted provision of $222 million, 313,000. There is also an increase of current expenditure of 44 million. I would have thought that you won't need this service since there's a hybrid. You have more Zoom and other things. This travel, could you tell us why you need this increase for travel?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This is for Medivac that we do from the interior. In Region 1, when we did our analysis, you would see those flights are dropping. We're not doing as much. But in Regions 9, Region 7, Regions 8, especially in those regions where we have put in telemedicine, because we are able to do direct diagnosis of these patients, we recognize that when they're in a critical condition, and therefore, if we discover such patients, we would send a Medivac in to pick up those patients. So that's one category of people, and in fact, with the telemedicine, we're seeing an increase. Otherwise, we wouldn't have detected these patients, and many of them probably would have died. We have also, under this provision, we had expended a lot of resources in our flights to Badia, and therefore we had a shortfall, because normally this projection would have taken us to the end of the year.
Thank you, Minister.
Mr. Chair, yes, a follow-up question. I applaud telemedicine, it is the way to go, but at the same time, when we were in government, we had more specialist doctors going to that area. So more specialists that will